Part 11, Mark chapter 8, verse 10 is where we're going to start. And lights, everything looks good on the screen, except for maybe I should text down a little bit more off the top. Okay. I think these are easy to understand up until this point here where I changed the word district to area, and I have it by this city here. They're saying it's a district. A district is an area, and we already know there's three regions, so there wouldn't be a region. This has to be like a city or by a place that we know. But the thing here is since I don't have the stories all put together yet, I'm highlighting it here and leaving it here that it's got to be changed to the right place. Got in a boat with his disciples to go to the area. And when I show you the boat trips here, we know this story and we know this story. So those have already been explained in the text above. Now we've got him going in a boat over to, I think they're going to say someplace over here. Let me see if I copy that. Okay, this one is saying there's another city here, even though they're changing the name. They're trying to just point to areas and they aren't really calling out because a lot of these names are just made up names today. But they're saying it's on that side. Okay. Well, if they're already on this side, where are they taking the boat ride to? Along the shore? Let's find out. Nope, it's not going to say where or by, but this is just hard to say, so it's got the question mark here for later. It has to be really looked into. Maybe it goes with another area, and maybe there's another city that I need to put on my map, something. But the object is I've told you about Pharisees being judges. There's a video down below for that. Don't need the words to test him. Don't need to say he sighed deeply in his spirit. You can't tell what's going on in his soul. And these guys are writing about what happened at that time, and they're witnessing from the disciples. And I'm not sure a disciple would really remember that effect or that thing, or those words. But words like that I can show you that I know that were witnessed by women. When Mary entered the house of Zacharias, Elizabeth said that her John jumped in her belly. So the thing here is a woman would remember that type of thing, but a man, he wouldn't write that, or he just doesn't pay attention enough to think that that's important. He sighed deeply in his spirit. So, but just to point out that there is text that could only have come from Elizabeth. So, or it had to come from Mary, because Elizabeth was rather old. I don't know if she made it to 80 years old or not, but the object is anyways, let's get on with it here. And up here it says sign, not from heaven, but in heaven. They're going by the stars. And this is divination, and our Creator had diviners killed. So there is these judges can't be true believers of our Creator, because they absolutely don't follow what's going on, which makes them a Jew. Okay, these would our Jews came up to argue with them. That maybe what needs to be put here, but a sign in heaven, and Jesus comes through here and just says, he told them, why does this generation seek a sign in the stars? Because that's where heaven is at. And noting the capital H here, that is the second heaven. The motion of the stars creates a mountain. If you want to know where all three heavens are at and where heaven is at, in the description below, you'll see a video, and I go through it quite well to show you that we have this knowledge where heaven is at from only 2 Bibles, and one copied the other. So, I don't think there's much that I need to explain why I'm changing a lot of this. This here doesn't really need to be added. They had forgotten to take bread and did not have more than 1 loaf of bread in the boat with them. That's just text that's not needed, because Jesus is going to say these words, and this would not be mentioned above or beforehand. He told them, beware of leavened bread by your judges, scribes, and priests. It says from your judges, but I'm going to include the scribes and priests, because we know the scribes were changing the text as you see it now. Even these are evil scribes today changing it, but also the ones that would have been teaching it would have been priests, that they would have been priests, and not from this from Herod as their priests of his, from this guy's understanding. Okay, so he didn't have priests. Anyways, the scribes would have been judges and the leaven of Herod. But the object is like, sorry, I got confused by thinking this word was there and it wasn't. So I did add the word scribes and priests to include them all, because they're the ones that are, I could add lawyers too, because some of the lawyers were corrupt. They didn't go by the laws of our Creator. But they began to discuss with one another that they had no bread. No. They had 1 loaf, and even that needs to be a period. And what I did is I just said, all of this can't be true. All this becomes this. I knew from the text above that they would have discussed about what is their bread, and that would have been, are the teachings from Jesus more important than our Creator's? That would be the argument. But the thing here is this has no representation. They would all look stupid. So I didn't, I just literally reasoned out the best words to be used here about what is their bread, because Jesus said to them, why do you discuss what is your bread? Not the fact that you only have no bread, but thus that you do not understand me. And as Jesus, he's going to answer this argument for them, whether Jesus is giving new teachings and new understandings. Are these coming from our Creator? Are they coming from Jesus? And Jesus goes on and says, do you not remember I broke the bread and fish for many people? Now, here, we're going to have to continue to find my answer. So let's just do that. Or the 7 bread and fish for the hundreds of people. Remember, we've done now both stories. So he's doing one story and then he's doing another story. And now do you understand me? And I had to answer this, for even I asked from YV, and he did. Okay, he asked for blessing. So when you're bringing in both stories, I'm bringing in text from both stories. And here, because Jesus asked for our Creator to do this miracle, okay? So the thing here is the argument of the bread, is it from our Creator or from Jesus? And it's actually from our Creator through Jesus, okay? So I can understand their thinking right at the beginning of what is our bread, okay? I mean, when you go through these verses and read, in fact, they had no bread, and Jesus going through like, well, I'm telling you about this, but they actually leave out the most important fact, that Jesus needed to ask from our Creator as well. So that is now in the text. This city, I'm not sure if this is the right place at this time, so I left it like this. I'm most likely going to change it. So let's take a look to see where they thought that was at. I think I had it done already once. And I think this one has see, this is where they're saying this city is at. Okay. So let's see if it's true or not, though. And then they brought a male to him and asked him, not entreated him, they asked him to touch him to heal him. Okay. I don't think there's anything difficult there that needs to be overdone. After he spit in his eyes, now we aren't going to have Jesus spitting in nobody's eyes, or what was it? I think the last time I was spitting on the tongue of a man to be able to make him speak. But the spitting, no, Jesus wouldn't have done that. He knew he could heal by his word or by touch. Laid his hand upon him and asked him, "Do you see anything?" And he looked around and said, "I see not men, but people." And it's saying, "I'm seeing them like trees walking." Look, a blind person is well aware of the difference between a tree and what it feels like and what people feel like. So it's not like trees walk, okay? But if you had believed that, I feel sorry for you. Because it's that you're not close enough to our Creator to know the truth. Once you understand these are the truths that I'm revealing, you know how close I am to our Creator. This is why I'm here. I'm just shocked at how many people don't try to live by our Creator's laws or his statutes or his commands. I mean, it just bugs me to see people say I'm a Christian and they get these tattoos on their self all over the place. And it's kind of like they've never read the Bible where it says, "Do not imprint yourself." So what the hell are they? They're saying one thing, but they haven't obeyed enough to actually know what is right and wrong. And that comes from believing somebody that you believe that somebody else that says this is okay or not for you, instead of doing your own homework and your own research. He laid his hands upon his eyes and looked at me. But no, he didn't need to redo it a second time. Jesus knows how to heal. But here he's healing them the second time. So, but this needs to be taken out. You see people standing about. Then he sent him to his home, saying, "Do not even enter a village." He's got to go home. If the path is to a village, why not walk through the village and tell people, "Hey, man, remember me? I'm the blind guy that now I can see. Jesus is here." I mean, this is how the word got around about Jesus. So that doesn't need to be said. Okay. Jesus went out along with his disciples. Don't even need those. Jesus and his disciples went to the villages by this place here and this place here. And he asked them, because he's with his disciples, don't need to say that he's saying this to his disciples. Who do the Romans say I am? Because the text that's coming up, if Jesus is asking, who do the people say I am, it does not make any sense here. For the simple fact, it might not be Romans either. I might have to put foreigners, saying I am. And they told him John the Baptist. Well, John's dead, so this is reincarnation. Others say Elijah, that's reincarnation, so we know that's not true. Another one of the prophets from the past, that's reincarnation, and that's why I put the word past in here, because it would have been there, because they would have talked that way. So do the Romans have that belief? No. Oh, well, let's see if I don't think I spelled that right. So who do the foreigners? Who do the foreigners say I am? And then he asked, who do you say I am? And Peter said, let's see, you are the Christ. Now here, the word Christ is being used truthfully for the first time in all four the Gospels, okay? And that is you have to add this text here. If you don't know that what the title Christ means, it is the king who is supposed to die for our Creator, okay? Isaiah is the one who has a vision of Jesus' death, and it horrified him to see what they done to him. When you go and find that text in Isaiah, and I'm going to get to that after I get to the four disciples, or these four books done, that's what's going to go on. Now, I also made a note that go see Mark 9:12. Okay, so I'm going to zip down to 9:12. They told them again. See, they had an Elijah who does come first to restore all things, but this would be Jesus saying there's reincarnation. That was Isaiah prophesied, I am to suffer and many things. Well, these many things is to die and die. So needed to change the word die here, but it's the son of from man. See, it was supposed to be man, meaning male, male only, but I had to put the word man to male. So when I was doing the text, I knew that man was to being male or female. But in this position here, son from a male, which was the descendants, because it's a prophecy. We're talking about words our Creator prophesied to David. Through Nathaniel came, told him that through your son's seed shall come a king, and he'll be your king forever in heaven. And until we get to Isaiah, who had that vision, then he knew that he was to suffer and die. So here Jesus again is talking about reincarnation, and this is Jesus teaching about reincarnation. That's just not true. But I just needed to let you know that the suffer many things, and it was to really Jesus suffer and die is the correct answer. So I've added the correct words here, and they're right here. Okay, you are the Christ, whom Isaiah told us is our king and will die for him. As most kings that did battles, okay, is what they were thinking. But what Isaiah's words don't get into all that. I'm going to have to make a note in the book where that text is found. Maybe I should look it up before I get to verse 9 here, 12 next time. So I'm hoping I do that, remember that when I get done. But anyways, this is the answer. And it was that Peter answered, you are the Christ. Okay. Meaning what I just said. And then he warned them not to tell anyone else. Okay. Now that is to the words why I said die. He will die for him. This is the first time that he's talking about his death. Okay. In the text as it's going through this time. So he would be saying, don't tell everybody that I am the king that's to die, because they all thought that was to die in battle and not as he is to die as what we now know as his Christ. Okay? Jesus, his Christ. You give the correct title. It's not a first and last name, Jesus Christ. It's Jesus the Christ or Jesus is Christ. Depends on how you want the definition of Christ to be. I refer to the title as his Christ, so I can explain the rest of what Isaiah was doing and all what I kind of just told you. This is why he's warning them not to tell, not no one, but anyone else. Then he began to say, yes, I am your son from man, who is to suffer many things. And then for being okay. I'm trying to read it. I'm trying to read with added words, and it wasn't making any sense. But if you see, I broke the sentence here. For being rejected by our elders, tribes, priests, and scribes. And I'm kind of, okay, I'm looking at those here. Elders, not chief priests, the tribes priests, and scribes. then I will be killed, and after I will raise from my death. So he is explaining that he is going to die, but he is explaining to them how he's going to die. Very important that you get this. Now it says, after 3 days I will rise. I'm going to show you text that they didn't need 3 days, okay? There's a video down in the description box if you want to cheat and read that, or wait until I get to the verses and show you that. I think you should go look at the video, because I used the verses from the text, I think from 2 or 3 books. Yeah. So, but then he took Peter aside, because he stated matter plainly. He stated, this is pretty much what I'm saying he just did and why he did it, okay? But it doesn't go and tell you that he was going to die the first time. The text is all chopped up and needed a lot of help. Then Peter took him aside and rebuked his words, or his teaching of how he is to die. And turning around, seeing his disciples, now this is not needed. Jesus rebuked Peter, for he told him, you are not wanting this, you are not setting is not correct. You are not wanting YHVH'S interest, which I made the word will, for me. He's to obey our Creator, so this is our Creator's will that he knows that he has to fulfill, and he's just now starting to tell them about it. So he's trying to tell them that Isaiah did say these things. It's just been misunderstood by people thinking I'm going to be a king and die in battle. I am going to be killed because our Creator wills me to be killed. Just as Moses was called, Abraham when he went to kill Isaac, and then he was stopped, and our Creator told him, you're a righteous man because you obey my words and didn't have your own self-interest in it. This is the same thing here that he's given to Jesus, even to know about that's going to happen. So how much of Jesus did he know growing up what's going to happen? Not everything, but I know he knew a lot that was going to happen. And then here, only 28. That's ground. Okay, here Jesus uses the word wishes. It cracks me up. Maybe. Jesus uses the words maybe, and even the word might be, and stuff like that. If anyone wants to follow me, they say, come after me. But anybody wants to follow him and do as Jesus, as his teachings, and follow him, let them deny, not himself, but themselves, because you have to have other people involved here. Many people might want to be as good as they can, and that would be Jesus was the pure virgin. So I know everybody laughs at virgins, but I tell you what, Jesus is telling them that they can deny themselves and then live by following me. It's their honor that they're doing this, and it's doing it for Jesus. So laugh all you want, because you're going to get buried in the end. You're the one that's the idiots. And it's not take up, but to live by, not his cross. Jesus wouldn't talk about his cross yet. Okay? So this is wrong here. And that the text can't, and the word wishes again. So we know that's not true. He will be lost from me. Yes, not lose it. Will lose it. No. Whoever loses their life for my sake, I will save them. Okay? Not for my sake and the gospel's, but for Jesus' sake. The gospel is Jesus' words, his teaching. So if you're living for Jesus, is like him as best as possible to enter into heaven, then if they kill you, he will save them. And that's exactly what's going on, or what is going to be explained later as well in many verses. What profits a man from the worldly will forfeit their soul with me. Notice how the word soul is used correctly here. The soul is what our Creator said cannot be killed in it. Actually, down below I have a video about the virgin birth, and I try to show that this is how they thought a virgin could be possibly have a virgin birth, but it does not fulfill our Creator's words. Make him a liar of many things, and don't want that to happen, not on my watch. And Jesus also tells us what is Holy Spirit. That's in there. There is no Trinity. But the object is that we have a soul. And we go to Hannah when she's going with her husband, who has 2 wives. She has no children yet, so you know that she is still her brother had died, and then she married with him and waiting to have a son. Well, the only thing is she asked our Creator for a son. So what you see is understanding how they seen how conception happened was a male seed was needed, and a soul, a male soul or a female soul, caused the conception. Okay. So this is the proper use for the word soul, because we were actually in heaven first before we come to here. We've lost all knowledge of our life before, because our soul is forever. Okay. But the object is the word soul is used here correctly, and it's rare that we find that text like that. And what can man give to him, or to Jesus, to save their soul with me? Not to exchange their soul, but to save their soul, because they can't enter into heaven without Jesus. And he goes on and explains that whosoever ashamed of me or my words are like the adulterer and sinners, and I, your Son from man, will be ashamed of them. So these have shame because they are not following our Creator. Now see this, he is talking about his second coming, and there's not enough text here to say that this is the truth right now. He's not teaching that, okay? Because how can you keep the words, these words right here? I mean, let's see, that's what I'm looking at is right here. Who will not taste death until. Now, this here, yeah, I guess that might be. How can people not have died until the second coming? That's what Jesus is saying here. They will not taste death until they see the kingdom of YV, which would be Jesus' kingdom from YV, and after it has come with the power. Here, it is being referred to who? Okay. Sometimes Jesus calls himself an it. So here, this verse here, and what little here is not needed. Jesus is going to speak about his second coming very truthfully without being stupid and calling himself an it or this or yeah, after it has come with power. Oh, dun, dun. Okay. 6 days later, actually it's 6 nights later because Jesus is going to transfigure before them. So the word nights has to be there. Took Peter, James, and John and went up a hill by themselves and transfigured before him. And his garments became radiant, which is brilliant white or brilliant white, okay? Radiant, exceedingly white. And no longer earth can whiten them. Okay, well, this doesn't mean anything because we know that white like lightning is going to be referred to as an angel. He was white like lightning. So we know it's not an earthly thing that can be done. Then Elijah appeared with Moses and talked to Jesus. Okay. Now these guys are on the abyss. They aren't in heaven yet because Jesus has to die before he enters into heaven. These two are given time with Jesus. So what did our Creator allow them to? Does our Creator allow them to in the abyss to watch us on the earth? Maybe they do. That would be a good debate to have here. And then Peter answered Jesus, Rabbi, which means teacher. If he would have said, he would have said teacher. Is it good for us to make 3 tabernacles? That's a Christian or that's a Roman Catholic word, and it's not true. It would be a statue for each one of you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. I'm remove that text, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it here and maybe possibly use it later, okay? Maybe later, and I'm going to make it yellow. Because it's not tabernacles, and it's not really going to be statutes. Peter wouldn't have the time to do that. Later, would they make the statutes? Well, Peter's going to be going, and James and John, they're all going to be out saying his word. So what they would do is made a marker that this happened here, not statutes. And I don't think I need to say anything more about any of the adding or different things here, because there's going to be a few stories, and I'll be putting all these stories together, a little bit here, a little bit there, because each one says something different, and everything does get, it gets very good at what happened here. Jesus went away to pray, and then this is where, right after is when Judas comes. So you can see that this text is out of order, but 6 nights later might be a key to what's going on, or it might be untruthful. So just trying to make sure that I don't get, and I'm trying to remember to go find that text from Isaiah and show it to you. So here, A cloud formed over them, not overshadowing them, came over them. And YHVH'S voice came from the cloud, not out of the cloud, but came from the cloud. And it says this, well, we know it's Jesus, so we don't need to look at this. Our Creator knows his name, but I just left it as he is my favorite son, not my beloved son, because we are all beloved by our Creator. Whether, well, that would be the ones that I would say are righteous and obeying our Creator. Those who will enter into heaven will be his beloved, but he is his favorite son, and you are to listen to him. Now, there's another prophecy of Jesus talk, or what? Well, actually not a prophecy, but we have words from Jesus that tells us that he was born before the foundation of the earth, which gives us a clue how long our souls have been around as well. That I believe from the text that would say that Jesus might have been his first being that he created and then created everyone else. And he would be the most perfect one our Creator had made in his likeness. And from him, all the rest of us aren't as good. And this is why he is his favorite. And this is why he is to come as our king and given us as his angels in heaven, okay? Or servants in heaven. You are to, the son, listen to him. So I added the words, you are to listen to him. As they looked around, they saw no one except Jesus. And they were coming down from the hill, and Jesus gave them orders, do not tell this to anyone until he rises from his death. Okay? So they were to keep this as knowledge only to themselves at this time. Now, I know I'm not going to go to the next text, but I just wanted to scroll it up and talk a second here before I get into the next video. The text better be saying that Judas came, because otherwise than that, this text here is way out of order, okay? Just to let you know on a heads up. So you can go cheat and look in your book or just watch the next video.